Our children don't misbehave. I misbehave. Yesterday, when my wife went out to pray and I was taking care of a 2.5-year-old and an 8-week-old, my daughter wanted my attention and my son was just being unconsoled. So I was trying to rock him. I was trying to do stuff in the kitchen. I tried to go into the room to keep him in the dark, and he just wouldn't calm down, and she wouldn't stop asking for my attention. And her whiny voice, which is fair because she's a toddler, but it was just getting on my nerves. I just found myself just building up with this anger. It's funny, all the time I tell my toddler, okay, take a deep breath. Whenever she gets worked up, take a deep breath. And I'll do it with her. And at some point, a couple weeks ago, I said to my wife, we need to remember that we need to take deep breaths. When we're telling her to take deep breaths, we need to use that time for us. So what I'm looking at now is I'm just reaching this point of just total anger and frustration. I don't realize, why am I so angry? Like a toddler, she's being totally normal. And my son is being totally normal. Why is there such frustration about me? And when my wife got back, I went off to a holy hour adoration. And that's just something I wanted to bring to the Lord. What within me, like, why am I so angry? I think right now in this season, that's just been a particular thing for me, is this frustration. Of course, there's new things that come with having a toddler and a baby. A toddler on her own, 2.5-year-old, that she provides her own unique opportunities for growth in the parent. And a 8-week-old does the same. So I have a toddler on this side and an 8-week on this side. By myself, my weakness comes out. And that's a weakness right now that I'm really struggling with, is just impatience that leads to frustration, that sometimes leads to anger. And I never really lash out. I don't go hit walls and stuff like that, but I feel this real anger within me. Something that I just want to bring to the Lord is what is this? And I think for me, I realized that at this time, in this particular situation, I was on my computer here and there a good bit throughout the day. Even when I was with them and watching them, I was trying to do stuff on my computer, check email, update a thumbnail, edit maybe a podcast or video. So there's a lot of opportunities throughout the day that I was just going on my computer and I was choosing to do something in essence for myself. And I remember college, I was taking a human and development psychology class, actually, fun fact, with my wife. And the teacher talked about the times that he felt like he was the worst parent is when he was doing stuff for himself. Every evening he likes to relax with his wife, have a bowl of ice cream, and watch Netflix. And he found that in those moments where he's trying to do something, watch Netflix, relax, those things are good. We can talk about Netflix. Those things aren't inherently bad. Let's just go with that. But those are the moments where he found that his temper was the shortest, that he felt like lashing out the most. And a hard statement and a hard idea, but maybe provocative one, is that our children don't misbehave. I misbehave. My daughter, Abela, doesn't misbehave. I'm the one misbehaving. And of course, you can see it with an 8-week-old. You're not going to say an 8-week-old is misbehaving because he won't go down for his nap. No. Why do we say for a 2.5, who developmentally isn't that much different as far as passions and desires and emotions? There's still a lot going on. Of course, when we talk about later, when you're 7, 8, get a little bit older. But still then, I think there's a claim to be made that a lot of our children's misbehavior is misbehavior on our part. I had my own expectations of my time. I decided that I was going to edit this YouTube video. I was going to add a description, timestamps, whatever it was that I was choosing to do. When somebody, no matter who it is, comes and interrupts my plan, if I don't have an open heart, if I'm not flexible, then when they come in, that's going to cause frustration. That's going to cause anger. And because I have a disposition, when my daughter, year-old member, wants me to pick her up, I'm going to get frustrated. No, not right now. But these are all I'm just masking my frustration, my desire to do something for myself. Or when we go outside and she wants to play, but I want to do something on the laptop, that's just masking something that I want to do for myself. I'm going to find something to try to distract you. And if that distraction doesn't work, I'm going to get upset at you. And I think that's a tendency that parents can have, is that for me, I want to try to find something sometimes that will distract her. I think we see that a lot in parenting, not to get a hot topic, but like iPad parenting, excessive television parenting, where you just plop them in. And I think there's a time and a place for those to varying degrees. And that's something I could talk about another time. But I think there's an easy tendency to say, see, my child is a disruption in my plans. Your child absolutely is a disruption in your plan. If we would have known all the difficulties in marriage and having one child and having two children going on, having three people, if we know all the difficulties that come with that stuff, there's a good chance that prior to it, we wouldn't have accepted it because that's not something we think we can do. But in the moment, we're called to use the graces given to us. Yeah, of course, your child by their very nature is a disruption, but you need that disruption. I need that disruption. When we're looking at our children's behavior, when I look at my daughter's behavior, I'm trying to refocus, to have this state of mind that's, I need to be interruptible. I need to set aside my time for her. Anything else is interruption. My primary vocation is to God, my wife, and to my children. Anything else is a distraction from that. So if I want to work on a YouTube video, if I want to work on my teaching material, that's only if I am properly ordered to these vocations. So if my child wants to play, but I want to work on this YouTube video, or if I want to work on even something like my schoolwork that I have to prep for my class, it's something that really needs done. But if Havila wants to just play in the kitchen, I need to be willing to set aside my work and just be with her. Because if I don't set aside my work, a few things will happen. One, my daughter will be sad, feel neglected. That's a strong word, but nonetheless, feel like she's not getting the attention she needs. Two, I probably won't get the same amount of work done as I actually would get done if I just set aside time for that. And three, someone's going to get angry. My daughter's going to get angry, or I'm going to get angry. Let's see, this situation for you that have slightly older toddlers, see if this situation has ever played out. You go to your daughter's room or you're in the living room and your daughter's playing with some toys and you're like, great, she's playing with toys. She's got her fake toy kitchen stuff. She's doing her own thing. That means I can do my own thing. Grab my laptop. I'll start doing some work. Your daughter notices when I'm not paying attention. Even if I'm in the room, even if I'm talking to her, she doesn't have my full attention. And sometimes you feel like they capitalize on that, and they do capitalize on that because they want you. They like toys, but ultimately they want you. In the situation, laptop, playing, I'm doing my work, she's doing her thing. At a certain point, usually, there's this shift where she's no longer interested in these toys because she realized that you're not playing with her. So she might come to you to see what you're doing. If you're not going to come play with me, maybe I'll come play with you. So she comes and she starts to play with you. But you don't see it as play. She wants to look at your laptop. And you're like, no, we're a tech-free house. Don't look at the laptop. But she wants to look at it even more. And then she starts pulling back the screen because she wants to see what you're looking at because she loves you and she wants to be involved in your life. So she's looking at, what are you looking at? She's pulling back your screen. In your head, you're like, you're going to break my laptop. This is a work laptop. You can't do this. So you're like trying to stop her from that. Or maybe you're sitting down on a table. So she climbs up on your lap and you're like, I can't type. Whatever. And then she starts banging on the laptop and she's messing up the email. This is a situation where you see it and you could very quickly be like, wow, my daughter is misbehaving. She's being rude. She's being destructive. It seems like she's intentionally trying to ruin my work. But let's take it from another perspective, either from her perspective or just an outside perspective. If you would see that, you'd see a parent and a daughter. Daughter's playing, a parent's present, chooses to bring something out. And then the daughter shifts to go look and be with the parent. But what the parent does is continue to be in their own world. As the daughter's trying to grab her attention, the parent's pushing. The parent may call it discipline, but the child and an outside person may call it not giving their child the attention. And I'm preaching to the choir. I don't want this video to come off as accusatory, that's saying you're bad and you're a bad parent. No, I do this all the time. I have my laptop in the kitchen and I'm going back and forth between the living room and the kitchen, talking to my daughter, or even sometimes she's eating at the table and I'll be in the kitchen on my laptop doing something. Avila does not like to eat alone, which is fair. I don't think a lot of people like to eat alone, but I have a tendency to capitalize on that time. She's sitting, she's eating. I'm going to get on my laptop, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And I am one to really much get a transfer what I'm doing and get distracted by time. So usually when she eats alone, she'll start standing up on the table. She might throw her food. These are all things that we do not want her to do. And then we get frustrated when she does. But if I look back at the situation, well, why didn't she do this? Like, why did she throw her food? Why is she standing on the table? Because she's trying to get my attention. She wants to see what I'm doing. She wants to be involved. So something that I'm working on, like I said, this happened yesterday that I was just like totally frustrated and angry. But something I'm working on is realizing that if my child's misbehaving, I need to look at my behavior. Like, where am I falling short of my expectation of how I should be as a parent? Because you can't hold a toddler to an expectation too high. Developmentally, they're just not there. The prefrontal cortex, the limbic system, all these things, just, it's not there. Their emotions are running high and their reason is very, very low. If teenagers can't control their emotions, think how much a toddler can't control their emotions. Something that really has helped me also see this kind of pivotal shift is the whole brain child. So if you haven't read this book or read the book, I highly recommend this whole brain child book. The whole brain child is two doctors of neurosciences that break down the human brain, especially from development, baby, toddler, early adolescence, and they break down the brain and its development in a very simple way. I teach AP psychology. I did some psychology in college, so I know a decent bit about the brain and how those different things work, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, different lobes, all that stuff. I know that stuff, but when I read this book, they do such a good job at bringing it back down to your level. So if you get frustrated with your child, I encourage you to read The Whole Brain Child. What it does, it puts you in their shoes. Once you were a misbehaving toddler, but you don't remember what it was like. Now you remember what it means to be like a human adult that is able to rationalize and control their emotions. So reading The Whole Brain Child allows you to see who they are and what they're going through and why it is that if you don't give them that banana, they feel like hitting you. Or if you leave the room to go do something on your phone or do something on your laptop, why they follow you. Or while you work on your laptop, why they bend down your screen. At the end of the day, until your kid gets old enough to really have a great rationale and great reasoning, and even then to a certain extent, our kids' misbehavior is because we are just falling short in some way. We're not giving them the attention that they deserve. We're not considering their emotions. We're not really stepping in to the role of a good parent. And I say this not to challenge in a negative way. I say this to challenge in a good way, to encourage, not discourage, to encourage you that you are able to do this. And also encourage the fact that if you just set down your laptop all day or set down your phone all day, you're just totally present with your child, I bet misbehavior will drop very quickly, and see how that works. Of course, you'll have to work in these different things, but if you're just totally present all day, and I did this one day, I was struggling with kind of being frustrated with Avila because she just kept asking me to do things. And I felt myself being more increasingly frustrated. And I said, okay, tomorrow, I'm just going to say yes to everything. It's like the movie Yes Day. Anyways, I decided I'm going to say yes to everything she says. That's what I did. I took a day and I just said yes to everything she said. I didn't ask her to say please. I didn't ask her to say it in a nice way. I just said yes to everything she asked. She wanted picked up. Yes. She wanted coconut water. Yes. She wanted a muffin. Yes. She wanted on the counter. Yes. Whatever it was, I just said yes to everything. And I found my heart was so much lighter because I set aside my expectation of how she should act, of how she should ask for things. Set my expectation of what I should be doing with my time. I decided to empty myself to her and just be totally present to her. So I challenge you to get The Whole Brain Child. If you've never read it, read it. If you're into audiobooks, it's there as well. I like reading stuff. But get The Whole Brain Child, read it. Maybe take a day and set all distractions aside, phone, laptop, and just sit, whether it's at the table, eating, whether it's in a room, playing, whatever time of day it is, just sit with your child all day long and just be wholly, totally present. And see how many times your child actually misbehaves. Because I'd encourage you that most likely when you change your behavior, their behavior is going to match. When you set down yourself in love, they'll feel so loved and so accepted that they feel no need to lash out. They feel no need to get your attention in other ways. So go change your behavior and see if your child's behavior changes as well.